Hi, and thanks for joining me on the mat for this slow yet intentional back body opening class. My name is Miriam Pires. I've been practicing yoga for 20 years and I'm a qualified yoga teacher, among other things. Now, a couple of things I want to say to you about this class before we get started. I am focusing on a gentle intermediate practice. Now, it assumes a level of knowledge about your body, about asanas, pranayama, mudras. However, if you are new to yoga and you're somewhat confident in your body, then give this class a go because it is gentle. The focus is going to be on listening to your body. Even though it's my practice and I'm sharing my practice with you, my guidance will be around looking for the places where your body is asking for those openings. So the practice is going to really ask of you to tune in to what your joints need, what your muscles need, how you want to breathe in that pose. And hopefully the translation can come through so that we can both, as a result of this class, go a little bit deeper in a gentle way to open up spaces, create length, create strength that deeply nourishes and doesn't put any additional stress on the body. Because I know for myself, it's been so interesting having recorded my practice, and I'm in the middle of the editing phase. I'm about to do the voiceover for the class, and watching myself in the playback and being able to slow things down and really assess how my body is moving is a game changer. It's much better than having a mirror nearby because, you can slow things down. So I really encourage you to do that as well. Get that camera out and record yourself as you go, because sometimes when you're actually in the pose, it's hard to tell if you're doing the thing the way you think that you're doing it, So looking at your body from the outside as well as experiencing it from the inside really can help take your practice to the next level. And I'm just going super slow in this class. I'm actually not very focused on very strict technique. I don't have a lot of strength. This is a morning where I was really tired. I knew I had to get my practice in. So your body's always going to be different. Some days you're going to wake up and you just have this incredible amount of power and technique and precision, and other days it's just going to be a struggle to even breathe. And that's cool. That's what we're here for, to explore all of those ups and downs. And yeah, for me today, this class was a little bit on the slow side, but I was really able to see exactly the areas that I am needing improvement in, the areas where my body is out of kilter. So I'm really grateful for that. And I'm grateful to be sharing this class with you now. So let's meet each other on the mat.
Welcome to this slow back body opening yoga session. I'm Miriam, yoga student for over 20 years, qualified teacher since 2017. Thank you for joining me in my practice today. Let's begin by spreading the toes wide and just feeling that we are grounded in the feet across all four corners. Pulling up slightly from the legs, tucking the tailbone, sucking the belly, rolling the shoulders back. Chin is parallel to the floor, crown of the head reaching up, and hands can come into prayer position. And start by deepening the breath. As you stand here in your tall yogic posture, feeling balanced in the feet, long in the torso, and deep in the breath, you may want to bring the tip of your tongue to the top of your mouth and really squeeze through the pelvic floor. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, we're going to start folding forward. Touch the fingertips to the floor as you bend the knees, and then rise up to the palms touch. Exhale, folding forward, empty the belly, and then scoop the body all the way up, palms touch. exhale, coming down the center line, and inhaling, rolling up through the body, palms to touch, and then exhaling, coming back down. And do this at your own pace, coordinating breath and movement. And this is just a spinal warm-up, a hip warm-up, a knee warm-up. It's just allowing you to feel into how your body is presenting today. As you exhale, empty the belly out and allow your torso to land on your thighs by bending the knees. And the more you can coordinate the breath and the body, the more the pose can become your own as you listen to what your body needs. I'll take a final little back bend here on the last round, and then reaching the palms all the way to the sky. Let's take a bend over to the left-hand side. And then scoop the pointed fingers all the way down to the ground, bending the knees as much as you need to. And we're going to windmill our entire torso, coming back through the other direction now. Again, opening up the body, the hips, and the back of the legs. So taking these circular motions through one direction and then the opposite direction. Take an inhale, reaching back, pausing here at the top, and then open up your arms down to the side of the body and give the shoulders a bit of a roll, just really stretching through the back thoracic spine and opening up. And taking some head rolls very gently as you breathe. Just listen to how far back, sideways and forward your head wants to go. You're looking for these openings, but it's an invitation to open. It's not a forced feeling. It's a sensation of doing a focused breathing exercise whilst moving this part of your body, whilst rotating the head and the neck, and letting the head and neck tell you how much is enough. And just waving to the helicopters as they fly over the Byron hinterland. Take a deep inhale, stretch the arms up overhead, take a little back bend, and as you exhale, fold the body forward over the knees. The exhale is designed to empty out the belly. So here with the belly pulled in, we'll just rock the legs from side to side a little bit, and then going to take a halfway lift. Now you can see that here I'm demonstrating to really suck that belly in the halfway lift. That's what it's designed for. And as you exhale, the torso can land a little bit more on the legs. Relax the head down finally. Bend the knees as much as you need to try and get that torso a little bit more on the legs. And let the upper body go. Let the upper body go. And start to just bend one knee at a time. Feel into the back of your body as you're inhaling and exhaling. You might want to take some stretches with the body over to the right hand side. Take a deep bend through that right side knee. And then swapping over the sides, take a deep bend through the left side knee. Feeling into each leg stretch each side of the body stretch, pulling away from that shoulder to the hip and feeling the stretch all the way from the fingertips down to the toes across that left side body. And coming back into center. It's a good time to get the grass off your toes. We'll take another halfway lift, but a halfway lift with some movements, stretching out the back of the legs. And coming up onto the toes now. So let's stretch the feet. You can squat down onto the toes and just roll the toes, the balls of the feet round and round in both directions as you take the breath, and then reaching the arms out in front, continue to rotate the toes if you can. And then do a few elevations, just coming up for some yogic squats. And do what you can here. The intention is to stretch through these toes and give the toes a little bit of a workout, because, we don't realize it, but the toes are getting a workout in all our down dogs. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, lunge back with the right leg and sink down into your pelvic floor as much as feels comfortable for you. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, we are going to reach the left arm all the way up, circular motion, and bring it back down and swap it round for the right arm and windmill that arm back down. This is just a little warm up here. So saying hello to the body, let's step it back into our downward facing dog. So left leg goes back, and we're just going to pulse this down dog a little bit. You can be on your toes. And then as you exhale, come down onto the knees for some luscious cat-cows. So as a general rule of thumb, as you raise your body up, you are exhaling to empty out the belly. And as you let your belly come down, you can take an inhale. That is typically the way that yogis would work the breath in conjunction with their cat-cows, but you can try what feels good for you. And this is an opportunity to really open through your spine, really open through your side body. We've already opened up quite a bit through the back of the legs, the spine, the hips, but there's going to be a lot more that needs attention, and this is when you do it. This is not the time to be worried about what people are thinking about your body or to be concerned that you're not doing it right. You need to go within. I'll tuck the toes now and lift the bottom into the air to get into our down dog. We're going to take the left leg up into the sky and give it a nice big stretch and bend the knee, cock it back to open up through that hip flexor, just as much as you need here. And we'll take the knee as close into the body to step it through the hands. Take a deep exhale as you land it as gently as possible, and once again sink into your lunge as much as your body will allow you in this warm-up phase. Hop up on your left leg to elevate your right leg parallel to the earth in Warrior 3. You want to be able to keep the breath nice and steady and reach that right leg back and keeping the right buttocks down parallel to the earth. Now I'm going to be practicing eyes closed. Balancing postures are one of the most important things you can do coming into later life. So I'm giving the eyes closed attempt here. You can do the same, don't worry if you fall out. And then when you are ready, bring that leg in, and I'm just doing a few kind of hip circular movements. Any movement that your body's asking for after that little warm-up round, you can take here. Take a deep inhale, reaching the arms up over the head, slight back bend here. A little bit of a holding of the breath, and then as you exhale, all the air comes out of the belly. Elongate the spine, and then take a deep inhale as you start to provide your body with any movements it is still requiring to open up the back of the legs, open up the spine. Step the left leg back this time and come into your lunge, exploring that shape once again. You can see here my leg's not quite straight, and again it's me taking a very gentle approach to my practice. Legs are asking for a little bit of a rocking back and forth, so listen to what your knee needs, listen to what your leg needs, listen to what your pelvis needs. And step it back into a downward facing dog. Let's roll through the body here, opening up through the hips, opening up through the back and the legs. Coming up right onto the balls of your toes. Send the tailbone into the air. I want your anus to be pointing so high. Focus on the back becoming really long. Press into your fingers, predominantly your thumb, pointer finger, pinky finger, and use the strength of your hands with elbows slightly bent to push the body back. Now rolling forward, coming into plank, and then dropping down into up dog. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, use the stomach to lift your body back into down dog, and then lifting up through the right leg. Point that toe and then bend the knee and hug it all the way in to the center of your hands. Pulling up through the right arm, circling that around, getting a nice long stretch and bringing it back down, bringing your left arm all the way up. Stretching that through, nice alignment here. And then sinking down into your lunge once again. And step through, pushing up into our warrior 3 pose, balancing. Take your time. There's going to be one side that's a lot weaker. For me, it's this side, but I am still going to attempt eyes closed. So we're looking for the alignment first, which can be hard to get sometimes, especially I'm on uneven ground here. And we want the back leg to be in line with the ground, the torso to be in line with the ground. Again, if you can do a little bit of eyes closed, that's great. And then when you're ready, bring it through. Standing tall, and let's give the wrists a little bit of a warm-up as well. Just twirling through your wrists to allow for a little bit of relaxation. And grabbing the hands now behind the body, clasp the fists. Take an exhale as you fold forward. Let the arms reach back as far as they'll go and point the tailbone up. Inhale to rise and stretch the body back into a little back bend here. Hold the belly in as you exhale. Let the movement be from your abdomen. Stretching the arms back as you relax the head, and as you inhale, use the belly to bring the body back up. Head rolls back last if you're able. The head is always the last to roll back and the last to roll forward. So the body moves, and if the head wants to follow, it can. Any other little movements you want to take here before an inhale to rise, back bending, fold forward, exhaling, stomach empties out, long through the torso. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, lengthen the torso down to the ground. You may want to grab onto your ankles. I get a really fantastic lengthening through the spine if I pull down on my ankles in this position. Taking some extra movements here through the legs. And I'm observing here, so I really have my left hip much higher than my right, and that would be because of my sciatica. And so this is a great way to... I also need to take into account that the ground is not level, but I believe that would be correct. So take a halfway lift to really empty out the belly. Fold forward, see if you can get even closer to the body, and then step the right leg back into your lunge. Lengthen through the torso. Can your hands come flat to the ground? Here I'm taking a little triangle, just stretching through that left leg. Take any movement that your pelvis, your legs need. You can see again that my right leg it's pretty lazy. So I'm not going for precise technique here. I'm just looking for a very gentle, full back body opening experience. We're going to drop the right knee down, untuck the toes, and come on up. Place your hands on that left knee and tuck the tailbone under. Tuck it under as much as you can to get lengthening through the right thigh. And if possible, suck the belly in and lengthen through the torso. And once you have those postures done, you can sink down into your pelvic floor. So keep tucking the tailbone under. And here you can take your Mula Bandha, squeezing through the base of your body. Your anus tucks in, pulls up, sucking through the belly as well, and then rise up through the arms. Head drops back if that's available to you, and it will always drop back after the arms come up. We're getting nice and long, and as it feels comfortable and the body is making a yes request, we can draw the arms all the way back. When you're ready, take an exhale. Let the body come forward and the head will drop in last. Left arm touches the ground and the right arm reaches all the way up. See if you can feel into an alignment between your right and left shoulder. Stretch the torso, the breastplate between the two arms. And I'm taking a little back bend just there. Drop that arm down and then swap it around. Left arm comes up. Same thing again, sinking into the pelvic floor, lengthening the torso, and then the left arm comes down. While here, let's take the opportunity to sink into our Uttan Prasasana, a little bit of lizard pose, if it's available in your body, if your body is calling for it. Mine was. And really here what we're saying is let's just sink into the groin, the pelvis, the thighs a little bit more. That's in whichever way your body is asking. Use the breath to create and find those openings. Go very slowly. Coming back up on to the hands, straighten out that right leg and we're going to come into our Skandasana. Now you can point the left toe out to the side a little bit to be able to flatten that foot. Lengthen through the torso. Let the buttocks sink down to the ground. Lengthen through the outstretched leg. And if you like to take a little bit deeper, left arm can come in front of that left knee and the right arm can reach up. I love this stretch. Now, we do actually forget to do this pose on the other side. So I'll remind you to do it when we get there. We'll step the legs back into our plank pose and then lengthen the torso into down dog. coming up onto the balls of the toes to raise the sit bone nice and high. And take any additional stretches here that your body is calling for. We want a really nice long torso. So get up onto the tippy toes, stretch the stomach in and the torso back towards the legs. And then when you feel that you have a nice long, strong torso, the shoulders are rolling in, you can then bring the heels down. This is a technique I learned and acquired in the Iyengar practice. Iyengar is a great tradition for increasing your technique knowledge. Let's roll the body through to plank. This is on the out breath. Take it down into chaturanga and we're going to pump it through. So buttocks is into the air, strong arms, and we're going to pump 5 times, just up about half a foot. And on the 5th, take it all the way up into a push-up. Flatten the toes and then drop it into an upward facing dog. If you like to stretch your neck back on the exhale, let it follow through. And then I'm taking some dips over to the left and right side here, stretching through the side body. Take a nice deep inhalation. Straight head, looking forward, opening up through the heart. And then as you exhale, drop the knees and then use your abdominal strength to lift up back into that toe stretch, up, down facing dog. Press the hands, palms, fingers into the ground. Roll the shoulders in towards your midline, long back, anus pointing straight up into the air, and then squeeze through that pelvic floor as you drop the heels down. Stomach is pulling in. And connect from your anus and your muladhara. Squeeze that in on the exhale and shoot a line of energy up towards your third eye center. And get those nice lines of light shining through the body. Come back onto the balls of the toes on the exhale. Take an inhale, and then on your next exhale, lift through that left leg nice and high in the sky. And you can see I'm taking a very relaxed approach. The alignment is all over the place. Take a bend through the knee and yawn it back. Stretch it out as much as you like. And we're going to take big circular movements through that leg. 5 times in one direction. Now, be very conscious that your upper body is still holding you in a well-adjusted down dog. After 5 times in one direction, 5 times in the other direction, moving from that left hip socket. Right leg is nice and straight. Point the toes and bring that left leg all the way through the center line of the body, hugging it nice and close. And let's take it back into warrior 3 balancing pose. Right leg lifts up, strong body. And again, I'm doing eyes closed, really practicing my balance on uneven ground, which I don't normally do. So when we get down, when we come down, we just get straight back up and we keep the practice going. And then dropping that right leg down into Tadasana. We'll take a moment here to feel the body. Feel the breath. Take a nice inhale, reaching the arms all the way up, palms to touch, and stretching into a back bend. Hips come forward, back as far as you can go. Exhale, dropping the torso all the way down to the ground with control, using your core. Halfway lift on the inhale, suck the belly in, exhale to come all the way down. Should be nice and close to the legs now. Bend the knees as much as you need to here. A few additional little stretches, whatever your body needs in this pose. I'm going to take hold of the ankles and pull in nice and close for a moment. Bottom is pointing straight up as high as you can get it, even when your knees are bent here in this pose. And releasing on the exhale and dropping the left leg back into our lunge. Here we are again. What movements does your body need? I'm straightening through that right leg and doing some rocks back and forth. Lengthening through the upper body. I'll drop that left knee down and coming into our low lunge. So first of all, let's really tuck the tailbone under. We want to get length through that front thigh on the left side. This is the core muscle that we'll be really working through, and the hip flexor. So really tucking that in, lifting up through the abdomen. I'm holding onto my right knee here so that I can keep the alignment. The knee has a tendency to splay out to the right, and I really want to focus on getting it into the midline. So the hands can come into prayer position, and we'll reach up through the center line, keeping all the beautiful alignment that we have got into place. And just reaching up as we are taking more breath. And eventually the body may ask us to dip all the way back. And at this point, the pelvis will come right down, as far down to the ground as we can. The body will reach as far back into our crescent moon. The breath is coordinated with the movements, and the breath is finding an invitation to go deeper. And on the exhale, we move from the core forward. We drop the right hand down, left arm comes all the way up, windmill. Nice straight line. Can you activate through the fingers? Left arm comes down, and we're going to windmill open through the right arm. Again, I can see that I'm being really lazy with my fingers, and every part of the body can be included in the practice. From the right to the left fingertips, there should be a line of connection. Let's windmill that right arm down, and we're going to pop down into our lizard pose. Now, don't forget, this is where we missed the side squat. So I will encourage you to find that for yourself. You can either pause the video here to get into it, or cut this pose a little short. Sinking down into the hips in both these poses, lengthening through the torso. If, like me, you have quite a lot of difficulty through this hip area and low back area, this is a great class for that. Tucking those left toes under, coming back into our lunge, and then over into plank. Nice strong plank, bend the knees and take the body into your downward facing dog. And when the torso is coming in close towards the legs, close to the ground, and you feel strong in your upper body, you can start to lower the heels down. Really suck in through the belly, buttocks towards the air. Squeeze in through the mula bandha and focus on your third eye center. As you exhale, we're going to roll into plank and then come down into a strong chaturanga, pumping 5 times. On the 5th time, we're going to lift up all the way, full push-up, flatten the toes, and then drop the hips down into upward facing dog. Head comes back last if it's comfortable for you. If your body asks for that, mine always does. Sucking the belly in here. As you exhale, we're going to lift back up into that down dog. This time I'm getting the toes a big stretch. I'm coming up on the toes in this way, and then release the toes and come back into the down dog position. Straight back in. Right leg lifts up into the air, bend the knee, and you can cock it back for a moment. Get a nice long stretch through the leg, whatever the body requests, and that dropping into these nice big circular motions. Do keep your torso nice and taut. This is a down dog position with movement. So 5 times in one direction and 5 times in the other direction. Focused movement from the hip with the core engaged. Love the feeling of this one. So good. It's in almost all of my practices. Point that right toe to the ceiling and then scoop it all the way through and place it between your hands. Take your lunge and then left leg comes up, right leg is nice and strong. Feeling into the feet. We've been here before. We're going to work this weaker side. This is my weaker side. Not giving up. Uneven ground. Outside conditions. This is the practice. Dropping that left leg down when you're ready. Take an inhale, reach the arms up and give yourself another back bend. And as you exhale, fold forward, sucking the belly in and dropping the torso down to the ground. Stretching through the legs. And then I'm going to hop back and take a little vinyasa here. Chaturanga, coming up into up dog, down dog. Any type of flow, just to flush that out. And we're going to come forward. You can attempt to do some jumps, hop throughs the way I am. I'm definitely not well practiced at the moment in this technique, especially on uneven ground, but this has been great to just observe my technique. So exhale to fold all the way forward. And as you inhale, rise all the way up, bringing the arms to follow, and we're going to take some squats down to the ground. So just do as many of these as you can, coming down as low as you can. This is a really great movement just for everyday life, practicing getting up and down off a chair, off, the floor. And then finally we're going to take it all the way to the ground as gracefully as we can, coming into our Navasana boat pose, and we'll end with a few little core workouts. Keep the knees bent, and I'm just going to focus on keeping my torso as straight as possible, my legs as straight as possible, and lifting the torso and the legs up and down, breathing, sucking the belly nice and tightly in. And I like to focus on really strengthening through the center line of my legs. The inner thighs are activated here. Pump it through as many times as you can, and then finally give the legs a little hug in towards the body as you lay all the way back down. We're going to take a little spinal twist here. Right leg comes down long across the mat, hugging the left knee in, and take a twist over to the right side as your left arm splays out and you can look over towards the left side. Just be nice and gentle here. You want to feel that from your hip to your shoulder, you're getting that really nice opening and lengthening stretch through the torso. Deep inhales and exhales, and you can let everything else go. No bandhas being held here. Let's take it over to the other side. Both knees hugging in. Left leg stretches out. Hug the right knee in as close to the body as possible. Guide it over to the left side. Right arm splays out, keeping shoulder down on the ground and looking in that same right side direction. Again, we've got the right buttocks and the right buttocks, the right shoulder, left shoulder. We want to feel a lot of space in between those parts of the body in this pose. And then coming back to the center, hugging the knees in. And we're going to come on up. We're not doing a shavasana in this particular class. We're going to go instead into a pranayama practice. We're going to do breath of fire, and then we're going to do a dharana practice, which is concentration. And typically in yoga, the 8 stages of yoga, the poses, the asanas, prepare us for these other practices. We are now in a great state to do this. So breath of fire will require us to take a deep exhale out, and we don't need to focus on the inhale. And at the same time as taking that exhale, we'll snap the belly back. So try to keep everything still and just focus on snapping the belly back with the sharp exhale, like so. Take a deep inhale, relax the body, and let's begin. Come into relaxation and stillness in between. I'm basically doing these breaths of fires till fatigue and getting progressively faster and faster. And let's go into round number 2. Inhale. We'll do one more round. Nice and short this time, as fast as we can manage it. Take a deep inhale. Moving straight into concentration practice, dharana. Relaxing into the body, taking any mudra that you would like with your hands. I'm just touching thumbs to pointer finger. And now is time to have your own experience deep within the silence that you have created through your practice. Coming to the end of our class now and wrapping up if you're ready to, or continuing on with your meditation practice. Thank you so much for sharing your stretches and your yoga with me today, and I look forward to the next. Namaste.